Unprepared isn't scripted or edited. There are no redos, and when we screw up, it's going live. This works for our show, but it is no way to run your e-commerce business. Our partner Rewind is here to help. They will help you back up your Shopify store with automated backups of your most important data. Rewind should be the first app you install on your store to protect it from human error, misbehaving apps, or collaborators gone bad. It's like having your very own magic undo button. It's trusted by over 70,000 retailers, from side hustles to the biggest online stores like Gymshark, Gatorade, and Movement Watches. Best of all, if you reply to any of their welcome series and mention Unprepared, you can get your first month free. Hey, everybody, welcome to another episode of Unprepared. This one is definitely going by its namesake. Dave and I spoke before, came up with an awesome idea here, and we're going to roll with it. So today, welcoming to the show, Dave Cherry from Cherry Advisory. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, Chase, and I am completely unprepared, which is ironically meaning I'm prepared for this conversation.
Yeah, it's what it's going to do. So what we settled on today and kind of what we want to explore is something that I'm seeing a lot of it currently. A lot of people are reaching out to the agency and questions to Honest Ecommerce and all that, kind of like, how do I have an edge over Amazon? And Dave and I are going to kind of tackle that real quick. So with that, Dave, the floor is yours.
Yeah, well, let me start off. Well, first off, Chase, again, thanks for having me, and always great catching up with you and talking. But what I want to think about is, and this can be applicable whether you're a small brand or designer just starting off with a small e-com only shop. This applies if you have some brick and mortar stores. Even if you have several hundred brick and mortar stores, you can be a big retailer like we have locally here in Columbus. The question is always, we've got this big giant in play called Amazon, and they can beat us on their assortment, right? The widest assortment out there. They can beat us on the breadth of customer data that they have and the budgets they have for analytics and all kinds of things like that. They can beat us on price because they can have loss leaders and so forth that smaller guys and others can't. There's a whole number of ways that the big guys can win and take advantage of scale. But there's a couple of things that they can't do. And those are things that I think that smaller retailers need to understand and take advantage of, as we said, to kind of get the edge on Amazon. And then, interrupt me anytime, Chase, with questions here. But the biggest theme about where you get the edge on Amazon is knowledge and intimacy. And that's both about your products and it's about your customers. So let me start off on a product example. Let's just say you're a local or a smaller t-shirt manufacturer and you're making sustainable t-shirts made out of recycled plastic threads. And I'm a customer that's interested in that. I can talk to you either in your online chat, through your mobile, through your email, whatever. You can talk to me about that manufacturing process. You can tell me that every t-shirt saves 3 bottles, this, that, and the other. You can go into tons of detail about your process. And by the way, if that's your company, you're super passionate about that, right? You're passionate about sustainability. That's why you created a t-shirt company that makes t-shirts out of plastic bottles. Amazon might have a similar t-shirt, right? And they're sourcing it from whomever, the competitor. They don't have anybody that I can talk to. Right, I can't really talk to somebody and say, how'd you get into this? Why are you doing this? How does it actually fit? How does it wear? Is it durable? All these different kind of questions. So we have an opportunity to be much more intimate about the knowledge of the product that we have and demonstrate that with our customers. And I think that's an area where you can get a big edge.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, Amazon's got millions, if not billions, of different products that their customer service team is not experts in any of them.
Correct.
Where, your SKU count is nowhere near that. And, you are 100% an expert in what you're doing on the product level.
I'll give you another example, Chase. And this is one of my favorite stores here in Columbus, Roadrunner Sports. They're a national chain. But I love it when I go into Roadrunner Sports and the sales clerk, they're a runner and I'm a runner. And they look at me and they say, oh, I think you probably you probably pronate this way. You need a stability running shoe. Here, jump on the treadmill and let me watch how you run and give you some advice. Oh, your knee hurts. We have these, wraps that can go around your knee. And by the way, here's some hydration tips that you might want to try out, like noon hydration as an example, or something like that. So I'm connecting with a runner, and I'm a runner. So we have an affinity. And so here's that second piece when I talk about knowledge and intimacy with your customer. Once that sales clerk, who again, Amazon doesn't have a sales clerk who can see me, can talk to me about my running, my race, my muscle aches, all that stuff, and can really direct me to the right product. On Amazon, we're dealing with all these product reviews, and I'll be honest with you, I have no idea which ones are real or not, right? Are they bots? Are they real people? Everything's a 5-star, and who knows what's going on. But you've got an opportunity to really know your customer and what they're looking for and take advantage of that in-person interaction time.
Yeah, I think the recommendation in the salesmanship of like being in person is such a competitive edge. And while Amazon is, finally opening up brick and mortars, there's no people in those stores. They're just letting people walk in and walk out and charging their credit card, which is just bizarre and kind of cool at the same time.
Well, I think it's one of those things. I quote this one of my favorite books, The Shopping Revolution by Barbara Kahn, and she talks about the different drivers of customer satisfaction. And one of the big drivers that Amazon's taking advantage in those stores, and they've done it with Prime, is convenience. Right? You want to come in, get something, have it shipped in 2 days, or just be in and out quick. And I don't want to talk to anybody. And if I'm buying a water bottle or a coffee mug or, an electronic accessory or something, it might not be a big deal, right? I just want to be in and out. But when I'm buying a product that is personal, that has meaning to me, I want to know more about that. I want to know about the sustainability factors. I might want to know about the designer. I might want to know about durability, in running shoes, application to an activity that matters to me. And that's where, it's a relationship that you can cultivate with your customer that, Amazon has a very, for their sake and for mine, very profitable transactional relationship with me, right? I'm a Prime member like so many other people. I buy like tons and tons of stuff. I love it when it shows up on my doorstep, but it's very transactional. And what I mean by that, let's call it Amazon 2, right? If somebody else came up along and was able to push Amazon off the block and did the same thing that Amazon did, I'd be their customer in a minute. There's no intimacy in that relationship. But I'll go back to my example with Roadrunner Sports. I can get my running shoes cheaper in a ton of different places, but I always go back to Roadrunner Sports. I love that relationship that they provide for me, and I pay more for my shoes to get them from Roadrunner because of that intimacy of the relationships that I have. And Amazon doesn't cultivate that. Not, again, good business model, but when you're a smaller retailer, and almost all of us are smaller than Amazon, if you focus on that intimacy and build relationships, not transactions, not commoditization, you can get that advantage over Amazon.
Yeah, there's that triangle that you can kind of talk about when you're building a business, and you can only have 2 out of the 3, and you straight up have to pick it. And it's like you can compete over price or service, or now I'm drawing a blank on the other one.
Quality.
But Amazon quality, yeah.
Yeah.
So Amazon's competing on price and quality. They're not competing on service, and so essentially what we're talking about here, the advantage that you can get over Amazon is outdoing service in all aspects.
Yeah, it's outdoing service, and like I said, I've used the term a whole lot. Whether we say relationship or experience, is you're connecting with the person, and think about just the analogy in your personal life. Whether it's your parent, your sibling, your spouse, right? At some point, there's a relationship there where you care more about them than just the transaction of what you're doing with them. I always talk about, if you have like your best friend that always knows what to say, right? Always knows how to pick you up when you're down or cheer you up or do something. They're applying context to any situation. That's one thing that Amazon doesn't do a terrific job about, is understanding the context of their customer, right? They're just providing all these different options. And again, huge assortment. I can buy anything out there and great price, and it shows up my door. And I mean, Amazon's an awesome business, but it's transactional. And if you can be that brand that understands the relationship with the customer, that has, and it might be that great graphic, design T-shirt with a social political slogan on it at just the right time, or you're hitting me with a sale at just the right time, right? You're adding that contextual nature to it. And when you add the content of a good product to the right context, that's sort of where that magic happens and you get a relationship. And again, I think that's where we can focus as smaller guys than Amazon, and something that we can beat them. By the way, we talk about Amazon a lot here. It's the same thing with Walmart and Target and Kohl's, right? I mean, those big guys, most of us are never going to be able to compete with their budgets and their capabilities and their talent and so forth. But there's other things that we can all do really, really well.
Absolutely, and that's a great thing to point out. It's like just it's how David versus Goliath. You know what I mean? There are a bunch of stores way further along than you, and this could honestly even be like your biggest competitor. You can kind of take this as an edge as well. Someone that's still in your industry and still, definitely smaller compared to some of the other larger ones out there. Dave, I can't thank you enough for coming on. Before we go here, just give a quick sales pitch about yourself. I just want to thank you for your time.
Oh, well, I appreciate that, Chase. So this is kind of what I do. This conversation is what I like to do. I like to say I work and consult for folks that are in the customer experience industry. And that is anybody with customers. So whether you're retail, banking, insurance, healthcare, transportation, you name it. If you have a customer, figure out what your customer experience strategy is, how you're going to build that relationship, and then understand your gaps. And then I'll help you fill those gaps in with technology and innovation. I'll help you measure and inform your decisions with analytics, and build a comprehensive strategy to help grow your business. So if anybody out there is looking for help, wants to have a similar conversation, very specific to your business, I'd be thrilled to do so. And you can find me out there on Twitter at Dave Cherry, cherryadvisory.com, Dave Cherry out on LinkedIn. Lots of ways to find me. I'm an easy guy to find in and around Columbus. And Chase, really appreciate the opportunity to chat with you this morning.
Absolutely. I'll make sure to link to all that stuff in the show notes.
Awesome.